I used to think silence meant loneliness, but now I understand it differently. Sometimes silence is not emptiness, it is recovery. It is the sound of a soul finally stopping the noise so it can hear itself again. I've been surrounded by people, but still felt unseen, smiling in conversations that didn't reach me deep. And I didn't know how to explain it, how crowded life can feel when no one notices what you truly feel is real. So I kept it to myself, like most things I've been taught, because not every emotion deserves to be fought. And slowly I started learning how to sit with my own mind, how to stop searching outside for what I had to find. Then maybe peace begins when noise finally ends. I learned that silence can be healing, not something I should fear. It became the place I go when everything feels unclear. No pressure, no pretending, just me and what I feel. And in that quiet moment, my broken parts start to heal. There were times I overspoke just to avoid the silence, trying to fill empty space to escape emotional guidance. But noise doesn't fix confusion, it only hides the pain. And I was tired of pretending I was okay in the rain. So I started listening inward to the voice I ignored, the one that always whispered there is something more. And it wasn't loud or dramatic, it was soft and almost gone, but it told me I was stronger than what I've been holding on. And sometimes healing speaks in the quietest tone. I learned that silence can be healing when the world feels too loud. It teaches you to breathe again without needing a crowd. And I stopped running from myself, I stopped avoiding truth, because silence showed me answers noise could never prove. Not every pain needs conversation, not every wound needs explanation. Some healing happens when you stop trying to fix everything and simply allow yourself to exist without pressure. I've been the type to overthink, to replay every word, searching for hidden meanings in everything I heard. But silence doesn't lie, it doesn't twist or pretend. It just reveals what's real without needing to defend. And I started noticing patterns in my emotional space, how peace feels unfamiliar when you've lived in chaos and pace. But slowly I adjusted, I learned how to slow my mind, and I realized healing was never far behind. I learned that silence can be healing, and I finally let it in. No more running from myself or where I've been, because in the quiet moments where nothing else can lie, I found the parts of me I thought had said goodbye. If love enters my silence, it must learn to stay calm, not disturb my inner peace or turn it into harm. I don't want confusion anymore, I don't run emotional storms. I want a love that feels like silence in its warm form. Because a real connection doesn't always need noise to prove. Sometimes it's just presence that gently helps you move. I have lived in loud emotions, I have survived inside the noise, but healing came slowly when I lost all those decoys. And I didn't fall apart, I actually came alive when I stopped needing everything to constantly survive. Now I sit with silence. I used to say I'm okay, even when I wasn't. I used to smile so nobody would ask questions. But deep down, I was just trying not to fall apart in front of people who wouldn't know what to do with my pain. I've carried emotions quietly, like heavy luggage no one sees, walking through life normally while breaking underneath. And I became so good at hiding it that even I started believing that I was fine, when really I was just surviving in silence every time. And I never wanted pity, I just wanted to be understood. But I learned early on, not everyone would. So I stopped explaining and started pretending instead, because silence felt safer than what honesty said. But pretending peace is not peace, it's it's exhaustion in disguise. I stopped pretending I was okay, and it felt like breathing again. No more smiling through heartbreak, just to appear strong in the end. I let my truth come forward. I stopped hiding how I feel, because real healing begins when you stop trying to conceal. There were nights I stared at ceilings, thinking everything in silence, replaying conversations that left emotional violence. Not physical, but deeper, the kind you cannot see. Words that stay inside your chest and slowly shape your memory. And I told myself, move on, even when I wasn't ready, because being strong meant hiding everything unsteady. But strength is not suppression, it's allowing truth to breathe, even when it hurts to face what you're trying to believe. And I realized pain grows louder when ignored. I stopped pretending okay, and my soul started to repair. No more. I used to think love meant giving everything away, pieces of my peace, pieces of my time, pieces of my identity, until there was almost nothing left of me to return to myself. But now I see, love was never meant to erase who I am. I've been the type to overgive, to stay longer than I should, to ignore the signs in silence, just to feel understood. I called it loyalty, I called it patience, I called it love. But deep inside I was slowly losing parts of myself above. And I didn't notice at first how much I was disappearing, how much of my own voice I stopped hearing, because I was too busy being everything for someone else, while forgetting I also needed to protect my own self. And maybe the hardest love lesson is learning where you end and where you begin. I learned to love without losing myself, to stay whole even when I care. No more breaking into pieces just to make someone stay just to keep the peace. Moments I stayed silent when I needed release, and I thought that was maturity, but it was self-neglect in disguise, trying to hold together what was already saying goodbye. And I've learned now that love should not require silence or force you to shrink your emotional presence. Because if love makes you disappear inside your own skin, then it's not love, it's emotional discipline. And I stopped calling pain a sign of devotion. I learned to love without losing myself. No more fading just to belong. I can give you my heart without giving up my song, because I deserve connection that doesn't require sacrifice. I deserve a love that feels like life. The most dangerous kind of love is the one that slowly convinces you that your needs are too much, and your voice is too loud, and your feelings are too heavy, until you forget you were never too much. You were just not with the right heart. I've spent too long adjusting myself to fit inside temporary spaces, forgetting that my soul was never meant for replacements. And I've learned that peace is not found in being accepted everywhere, but in being respected where you truly care. Because love that's real doesn't ask you to become smaller, it expands your spirit and makes you stronger. I learned to love without losing myself, and that changed everything inside. No more choosing between peace and the love I want in my life. I can stay open-hearted without being emotionally drained, because real love does. I used to fear endings. I thought losing people meant I was losing parts of myself too. But life has a quiet way of teaching you something deeper. Not everything that leaves is a loss. Sometimes it is release. I held on longer than I should've, to conversations fading in the silence, to connections losing meaning, to love that stopped being honest. And I kept telling myself, maybe it will change. But deep down I knew I was the only one still trying to keep something alive. And that kind of effort eventually drains your spirit without making noise. So I stayed quiet and slowly started learning what it means to let go. Because sometimes peace is not found in holding on, but in finally releasing what hurt you. I found peace in letting things end. No anger, no revenge, just understanding that some chapters close softly, so your soul can start expanding. No more forcing what's fading, no more chasing what won't stay. I learned that letting go can be a beautiful way.
There were people I loved deeply, but they only loved me in pieces when it was convenient, when my light was easy to receive in seasons. But I was giving my whole heart to something half alive. Oh, trying to build forever on something that wouldn't survive, and I don't blame them anymore. I just understand the truth. Some people only need you at the level they choose. And I was given forever to temporary energy, calling it destiny, when it was never.
Some nights I don't have the words for people, so I talk to God in silence. Not because I have perfect faith, because I have real feelings. And sometimes silence is the only language my heart understands. I've carried so much inside me that no one ever sees, smiling through the pressure like I'm harder than I seem. But truthfully, I break quietly, I heal in fragments too. I learn how to survive when I don't know what to do. And I've asked so many questions that never found reply, like why do good hearts suffer while others just get by? But I still wake up breathing, still try another day, even when my spirit feels like it's slowly fading away. And I've learned not every prayer gets answered loudly. Some arrive as peace instead. Some nights I talk to God in silence. No voice, just tears that fall. No perfect words, no guidance, just honesty through it all. And somehow in that stillness, when everything feels lost, I find a kind of healing that pain cannot exhaust. So I breathe through what I'm feeling, let the moment pass me by, and trust that even broken hearts can I've loved people who couldn't stay, but I stayed far too long, confusing painful loyalty when something felt so wrong. And I gave more than I had just to feel enough for someone. But love should never leave you feeling emotionally undone. Now I see the quiet lessons that heartbreak tried to teach, that sometimes losing people is how you learn your peace. And I don't hate the journey, even though it made me cry, because every tear I've carried still helped me stay alive. And maybe healing isn't instant, maybe it's learning how to breathe again. Some nights I talk to God in silence, and I don't ask Him for much, just strength to keep on going when life feels out of touch. And in that quiet moment, I used to think love was supposed to hurt a little, that if it didn't cost me peace or make me question myself sometimes, then maybe it wasn't real, but I was wrong. Love is not supposed to break you, just to prove it exists. I learned that lesson slowly, through silence, through waiting, through tears I never spoke about. I stayed in situations longer than I should have, not because I was weak, but because I kept believing that consistency would eventually arrive. I kept calling it patience when really it was fear. Fear of starting over, fear of being alone, fear that maybe love was supposed to feel this complicated. But now I see it was never love that was complicated. It was my acceptance of less. And sometimes you don't realize you're hurting yourself until you finally stop. I stopped confusing love with pain, and everything started changing. The silence became clearer, the truth stopped rearranging. No more calling confusion connection, no more calling distance growth. I learned that real love doesn't leave you emotionally broke. There were moments I questioned myself, wondered if I was asking for too much. But all I ever wanted was emotional honesty and trust. Not perfection, not constant attention, just something stable enough to not feel like tension. But I kept accepting inconsistency and calling it destiny, until I realized I was repeating a cycle that was hurting me gently. And the worst part is, I knew something was off, but I kept hoping it would change if I just loved enough. But love that needs you to suffer is not love at all. I stopped confusing love with pain, and my heart finally exhaled. No more emotional sedating inside something that never held. I chose clarity over chaos, peace over emotional strain, because I deserve a love that doesn't feel like pain. The truth is simple. Real love doesn't leave you constantly guessing your worth. It doesn't make you feel like you have to earn your place in someone's heart every day. It just stays naturally, insistently, softly. I've spent too long romanticizing struggle, thinking effort meant devotion. But now I understand that peace is the real emotion, because love should not feel like a battlefield you survive every night. It should feel like safety, like home, like light. And I can finally see how many times I ignored that truth just to keep something alive that was already fading through. I stopped confusing love with pain, and I started choosing myself. No more emotional starvation inside someone else's shell. I want something real, not something I have to chase. I want love that feels like peace when I see their face. If love meets me again, I won't run toward confusion. I won't mistake intensity for emotional fusion. I will listen to consistency. I will trust how it feels, because now I know real love reveals itself in stillness. And I will never again ignore my own peace just to keep someone close who never truly sees. I have learned pain is not proof of love. Struggle is not proof of destiny. And longing is not proof that I used to think if I tried harder, if I loved deeper, if I stayed longer, people would eventually choose me, the way I chose them. But life has a way of teaching quiet lessons, and the hardest one was this: not everything you want is meant to want you back. I've been the one reaching first in conversations that felt half alive, trying to keep connections breathing that were already barely surviving. And I called it loyalty, I called it patience, I called it love. But deep down, it was fear of letting go of something I had already lost. And I stayed longer than I should have, not because it was right, but because I didn't want to accept what was already gone from sight. And maybe the truth doesn't hurt at first, it hurts when you finally see it clearly. Yeah. I stopped chasing what never chose me, and peace found me instead. Not instantly, but slowly in my head. No more running after silence, no more begging for a sign. I found myself returning to the life I left behind. There were times I confused attention with emotional connection, times I mistook temporary presence for something worth protecting. And I gave people access to parts of me I should have guarded, just to feel less alone when everything else felt harder. But not every door is meant to stay open forever. Some lessons arrive softly, but change you completely nonetheless. And what I thought was love was me refusing to walk away. I stopped chasing what never chose me, and I started choosing myself. No more losing my direction, trying to save someone else, because a love that needs chasing is already halfway gone. And I finally understood I deserve something strong. Sometimes you don't lose people, you just stop convincing yourself they were ever fully there, and that realization is where healing begins. I've spent so many nights overthinking conversations, reading between lines that had no real intention, trying to decode silence like it was speaking to me, when in reality it was just absence, trying not to be seen. And I think I learned something powerful through all of that confusion. Not every unanswered question deserves your emotional fusion. I stopped chasing what never chose me, and something inside me climbed. Not because I stopped caring, but because I stopped being harmed. No more emotional exhaustion, no more proving I'm enough. I found strength in letting go, not mine to hold. I have waited, I have hoped, I have tried to rewrite endings that were already set in stone. I have carried emotional weight that was never mine alone. But I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to beg for presents. I just need to trust what walking away represents. And strangely, letting go didn't break me, it freed me. There's a calm that comes when you stop fighting reality, when you stop confusing pain with emotional loyalty. And now I move differently. I speak more softly to myself. I no longer abandon my peace for temporary emotional wealth, because I understand now what is meant for me will not require chasing.
I stopped chasing what never chose me, and I finally chose me too. Not out of anger or bitterness, but because I knew the truth. No more running after shadows.
Nobody notices when a person begins disappearing inside themselves, because on the outside they still smile, still reply, still show up. But internally, they are fading from places they once called home. And after a while, you become so emotionally tired that disappearing quietly starts to feel safer than explaining your pain. I became quieter over time, not because I lost my voice, but because every time I spoke, I'ma say, I felt misunderstood somehow. So I learned how to carry emotions silently, how to nod while hurting, how to comfort others while emotionally collapsing underneath. And eventually, silence became a habit, a place where nobody could disappoint me if I expected nothing at all. And maybe loneliness feels heavier now, because I learned how to hide my pain too well. I learned how to disappear quietly, how to leave without leaving the room, how to smile through conversations while feeling emotionally removed. No dramatic endings, no visible signs to see, just a soul becoming distant from everything used to me. There were nights I wanted someone to notice the sadness in my eyes, someone to ask deeper questions instead of believing every "I'm fine." But people often hear words, not the silence underneath them. And I got tired of translating emotions nobody truly tried to listen to. So I stopped asking to be understood, and honestly, that changed me more than heartbreak ever did. Because eventually, unspoken pain becomes part of your personality. I learned how to disappear, period, to emotionally step away unseen, to protect the softer parts of me from constantly feeling unseen. And every hidden emotion became another layer to carry, until even happiness started feeling temporary. The hardest thing about emotional exhaustion is that you don't always cry loudly. Sometimes you just slowly lose connection to yourself, to people, to joy, until numbness begins feeling normal. I miss the version of me that didn't overthink every connection, the version that trusted naturally, that loved without emotional hesitation. Now my heart studies everything carefully, tones, delays, changes in energy, because pain taught me how quickly warmth can disappear. And maybe Sagarda protected me, but it also made tenderness feel frightening. Sometimes I learned how to disappear quietly, but I don't want to live that way forever. I don't want fear to become the language of my soul forever, because deep down, beneath every guarded emotion, I still want softness. I still want honesty. I still want peace. If love meets me where I am now, it will meet someone healing slowly, someone learning that vulnerability should not feel emotionally dangerous, someone tired of pretending they are unaffected by everything, someone craving emotional safety more than temporary intensity. Because now I understand, real love notices silence too. I have disappeared inside crowded rooms, inside relationships, inside versions of myself I no longer recognized. I have carried emotional loneliness without knowing how to explain it, but I don't want to abandon myself anymore. I don't want silence to become my permanent hue. So now I'm learning how to return to myself slowly, learning how to speak honestly again, how to feel without apologizing, how to exist without emotionally shrinking. And every healing, it's it becoming flawless. sit quietly and think about the version of me that existed before life became heavy, before disappointment changed my softness, before heartbreak made me cautious, before silence started feeling safer than honesty. And I wonder what happened to that person. I used to laugh without thinking, trust without fear, love without preparing myself for people disappearing. My heart felt lighter then, like life still carried wonder inside it, like every connection didn't need proof to survive it. And now I move carefully, measuring words before they leave, protecting emotions quietly, like something fragile underneath. And maybe healing hurts so much because you remember who you used to be. I miss who I was before the pain, before survival changed my soul, before I learned how quickly beautiful things can lose control. I miss the softness in my spirit, the way my heart could still believe. Sometimes I mourn the person life slowly took from me. There were moments I became silent, not because I had nothing to say, but because explaining emotional wounds felt exhausting in every way. And people noticed I changed, but not the reasons underneath, not the nights I stayed awake trying to hold myself together peacefully, because care changes people quietly, long before anyone else sees it. And maybe I became distant because tenderness started hurting. I miss who I was before the pain, before disappointment shaped my eyes, before I learned some people leave even after promising they'll try. I used to think if I loved people deeply enough, they would stay. If I gave enough, understood enough, sacrificed enough, they would see my heart and protect it carefully. But some people only love the parts of you that make them feel good. And the moment you become human, heavy, tired, they slowly disappear. I remember how easy it was for everyone to hold me when I was smiling, when I carried rooms with warmth, when I answered messages quickly, when I made life lighter for others. People called me special then. He's love, easy to need, but nobody asked what it cost me to always be sunlight for everyone else. And the saddest realization is discovering people loved your energy more than they loved you. Some people only love the light in you, the version that never breaks, the version that keeps on giving, even when the soul aches. But when your skies grow heavy, when your smile needs rest, you quickly learn who truly loves your depth. There were moments I felt invisible while sitting beside people I gave everything to. Moments I needed softness, but still became the one comforting you. And I did it naturally because love was how I survived. But slowly I started realizing I was emotionally tired inside, because healing people while neglecting yourself eventually becomes another form of pain. And maybe I wasn't asking for too much. Maybe I was just asking the wrong people. Some people only love the light in you until darkness enters the room, until your heart becomes quieter, until your spirit needs room. And suddenly its softness feels inconvenient somehow. But real love stays present even when you don't know how. You deserve people who can hold your silence, not just your sparkle, people who stay gentle with you when life drains your colors, because love that only exists when you are emotionally useful is not love. It's comfort. I've spent so much of my life trying to remain emotionally beautiful, trying to make pain look graceful so nobody would leave when I struggled, and maybe that's why I became exhausted. Because performing strength is still a performance, and eventually your soul asks to be loved honestly, not admired from a distance. Some people only love the light in you, but I won't dim myself anymore. I won't destroy my inner world just to make others feel warm, because I deserve a love that remains through every season, a love that understands my heart without needing a reason. If love meets me where meet honesty first. Not perfection, not performance, not emotional overwork. It will meet someone learning it, and rust is savior grip too. Someone finally understanding they deserve softness too. And if someone truly loves me, they will not disappear the moment life becomes heavy. Emotionally, while quietly drowning inside, I have stayed strong for others while abandoning my own mind. I have mistaken being needed for being genuinely loved, but now I understand the difference, and that understanding has changed my life. Now I protect my energy differently, not because I became cold, but because I finally realized warm hearts deserve protection too. And there is something peaceful about no longer forcing yourself to remain bright for people who disappear when your light flickers, because healing begins the moment you stop performing for acceptance. Some people only love the light in you, but the right ones love your storms too. They stay when your soul feels heavy, when silence becomes your truth. I don't think people realize how painful it is to watch someone become unfamiliar while they are still standing in front of you. No betrayal, no screaming, no dramatic goodbye. Just two hearts slowly losing the language they once shared. I remember when your voice felt like somewhere I could rest, like no matter how heavy life became, I could breathe inside your presence. We used to speak in glances, understand what silence meant. Now every conversation feels emotionally spent, and I still sit with memories that don't feel very far, trying to understand how we became who we are. And maybe distance doesn't arrive suddenly. Maybe it grows quietly between small moments. We became strangers so slowly, I almost didn't notice the change. Just pieces of us disappearing while everything looked the same. No single moment broke us, no final words to blame. Just two hearts drifting softly until nothing remained. I kept holding on to versions of you that no longer existed, trying to love you through silence while emotionally feeling dismissed. And maybe you were trying to. Maybe we both became tired. Maybe love can fade quietly without either heart becoming cruel. 'Cause not every ending is violent. Some endings arrive like winter, slowly, silently, without asking permission. And what hurt the most was how normal distance became. We became strangers so slowly, and I felt it in subtle ways, in shorter conversation, times the right affection and changing gaze. No anger, no chaos, just emotional space growing wide. And I stayed there, loving memories while watching us divide. Sometimes love doesn't collapse. Sometimes it simply stops being fed. And eventually, two people wake up, missing each other while standing in the same room. There were nights I lay beside you, feeling emotionally alone, hoping your arms could still feel like somewhere safe and known. But comfort started fading into unfamiliar air, and I realized loneliness can exist when someone's there. And that realization changed me, because I finally understood presence means nothing without emotional truth. We became strangers so slowly, and I finally stopped pretending, stopped calling distance temporary when I could feel the ending. No more holding on to echoes, no more forcing what had gone. I became softer through acceptance instead of trying to hold on. If love meets me where I am now, it won't feel emotionally uncertain. It won't slowly disappear behind invisible curtains. It will feel consistent, safe enough to remain. And I won't have to question if affection still exists between, because now I understand love should never make you wonder if you are still loved. I have stayed, I have hoped, I have tried to reconnect fading light. I have carried conversations through emotional quiet names. But I don't need to chase closeness anymore. I don't need to beg for emotional presence. I just need to accept that some people leave slowly. And strangely, there's peace in acceptance, peace in no longer forcing connection, peace in no longer carrying an entire relationship emotionally alone. Because love should breathe naturally, not survive through exhaustion. And I think part of healing is learning when to stop watering what no longer grows. We became strangers so slowly, but I finally understand why. For the longest time, I searched for someone to save me from myself. Someone to understand me, hold me together, stay when life became heavy. But after all the waiting, all the heartbreak, all the silence, I realized something quietly devastating. The person I was waiting for was me.
I spent years trying to be seen by people who only look halfway, trying to explain emotions I didn't even know how to say. And every time I felt abandoned, I blame myself somehow, like maybe I was too emotional, too deep, too much to hold around. So I became smaller slowly, less explicit, less alive, just to make people comfortable with a heart that needed light. And somewhere in all that shrinking, I disappeared from myself. The person I needed wasn't me, not another temporary hand, not someone promising forever while failing to understand. I needed my own compassion, my own voice to believe. I found something life-changing when I stopped abandoning me. There were nights I stayed awake, trying to make sense of pain, wondering why I kept pouring love into places that never changed. And I kept hoping people would heal wounds they didn't create. But healing doesn't arrive through someone else deciding your fate. And I know now I was searching outside myself for something that only existed within. And what I call loneliness was actually separation from myself. The person I needed wasn't me, the version I kept ignoring, the one quietly surviving while my heart was always pouring. No more waiting to be rescued, no more needed validation to breathe. I found peace the moment I finally chose me.
Sometimes the deepest heartbreak is realizing how long you abandoned yourself, trying to keep other people close. I've carried so many expectations that were never mine to hold, trying to become lovable enough for hearts that already turned cold. And every disappointment felt personal somehow, like my worth depended on who stayed around. But people leaving does not erase your value, and being misunderstood does not make you difficult to love. The person I needed wasn't me, and I finally understood Don't need to break myself apart just to fit inside someone's hands. No more chasing temporary love, no more begging to be seen. I became something stronger when I started choosing me. If love meets me where I am now, it won't meet desperation or fear. It will meet someone grounded who finally learned how to be here. Someone who no longer disappears to keep another person near. Someone who understands that love should feel sincere. Because now I know real love never asks you to abandon yourself. I have waited, I have hoped, I have loved beyond my limits. I have tried to heal people while quietly feeling unfinished. But I don't need saving anymore. I don't need someone to complete my soul. I just need to stay connected to the parts of me I almost lost. Now silence feels different. Not empty, not painful, just calm. I no longer fear being alone, because I finally know my own presence. And there's something beautiful about becoming emotionally safe for yourself. Something powerful about no longer begging for the bare minimum. Something healing about finally resting inside your own heart. The person I needed was me, and now I finally feel whole. Not because life became easier, but because I reclaimed my soul. No more searching outside my... I didn't realize how tired I was. Not physically, but emotionally. Constantly giving, constantly trying, constantly holding things together, until one day I stopped and I let my heart rest. I was always the one reaching, always meeting halfway first, always trying to understand what was never fully clear. I gave without conditions, even when I felt unsure. 'Cause loving felt like purpose, even when it started to hurt. And I called it loyalty, I called it being strong. But strength started feeling like something I carried too long. And maybe love isn't meant to feel like effort. Maybe it's meant to feel like peace. I let my heart rest, and the silence felt like home. Not because I was alone, but because I wasn't holding on. No more chasing after feelings, no more trying to impress. I found something deeper when I let my heart rest. There were nights I felt empty, but still gave what I had. and I didn't stop to question if I was okay inside, because I got so used to putting my needs aside until I felt it fully, that quiet emotional strain, and I realized loving others shouldn't come with hidden pain. And what I thought was love was me forgetting myself. I let my heart rest, and I felt my breathing change, like something deep inside me finally loosened from the strain. No more overextending, no more losing what is mine. I found peace in slowing down and choosing my own time. Rest is not weakness. Rest is where healing begins. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stop giving and start receiving peace. I've been carrying emotions that were never mine to hold, trying to fix broken pieces that were never mine to control. And I thought if I stayed long enough, things would fall into place, but I was only losing energy, trying to fill empty space. And now I see it clearer. What I thought I had to prove was just me trying to hold on to something I needed to remove. I let my heart rest, and I didn't fall apart. I just felt a quiet stillness settle gently in my heart. No more pressure to keep giving, no more losing my control. I became something softer and somehow more whole. If love finds me where I am now, it won't feel like something I chase. It won't drain my energy or take more than it gives in place. It will feel like balance, like something steady and true. And I won't have to lose myself just to feel close to you, because now I understand love doesn't exhaust you, it restores you. I have given, I have stayed, I have tried more than I should. I have carried quiet burdens just because I thought I could, but I don't need to do that now. I don't need to overextend. I just need to protect my peace and let my heart melt. I let my heart rest, and I finally feel at peace. Not because I stopped loving, but because I found release. No more chasing what drains me, no more losing my control. I found something deeper
You don't have to keep giving. You don't have to keep trying. You don't have to exhaust yourself just to feel loved. Rest and let your heart remember what peace feels like.
You didn't leave all at once. There was no moment, no final word, no clear ending. Just distance, growing in places that used to feel like home. And I stayed, not realizing you were already gone. We used to fill the silence like it was something we both understood. Now silence feels heavier than I ever thought it could. Your voice became unfamiliar, your presence harder to reach, and I kept searching for the version of you that only lived in memory. I thought maybe it was timing, maybe we just needed space. But distance doesn't feel like healing when you can feel it in someone's face. And maybe you didn't change overnight. Maybe I just noticed too late. You faded while I was still there, still holding on to what we were, still trying to feel something real in every silence that occurred. No goodbye, no warning, just a quiet shift in you. And I stayed longer than I should, hoping it wasn't true.
I adjusted to your distance like it was something I could fix. Like if I loved you softer, you would somehow come back to this. But love isn't something you chase when it's already slipping away. And no amount of understanding can make someone choose to stay. Still I held on to fragments, every word, every sign, trying to build something whole out of something losing time. And what I called patience was me not letting go.
You faded while I was still there, and I felt it in my chest, like something slowly breaking, but I couldn't name it yet. No closure, no explanation, just a space where you withdrew. And I stayed inside that silence, trying to reach you. The hardest part about losing someone is not the moment they leave. It's realizing they were already gone while you were still loving them. I've been replaying conversations that didn't sound the same, trying to understand the distance without placing any blame. But sometimes love just fades without a reason you can hold, and the truth doesn't always arrive in a way that's easy to be told. And now I see You faded while I was still there, and I finally let it be. Not because I stopped caring, but because I chose to see. No more chasing what is gone, no more holding on to pain. I became something stronger when I stopped calling your name. And life finds me where I am now. It won't feel like it's slipping away. It won't leave me questioning if it's still choosing to stay. It will feel like a presence, like something steady and true. And I won't have to search for it the way I search for you. Because now I understand. Love doesn't fade in silence, it stays, or it leaves. I have waited, I have hoped, I have held on longer than I should. I have tried to understand you in every way I could. But I don't need to do that now. I don't need to reach for what is gone. I just need to accept the silence and move on. You faded while I was still there, and I finally feel at peace. And not because it didn't hurt, but because I chose release. No more searching for your presence, no more trying to hold on. I found something deeper when I accepted you were gone. You didn't leave all at once, but now I see it clearly. You were fading, and I was holding on. Now I'm letting go. Not because I stopped loving, but because I deserve something that stays. You didn't leave all at once. There was no moment, no final word, no clear ending, just distance. Growing in places that used to feel like home. And I stayed, not realizing you were already gone. We used to fill the silence like it was something we both understood. Now silence feels heavier than I ever thought it could. Your voice became unfamiliar, your presence harder to reach. And I kept searching for the version of you that only lived in memory. I thought maybe it was timing, maybe we just needed space. But distance doesn't feel like healing when you can feel it in someone's face. And maybe you didn't change overnight. Maybe I just noticed too late. You faded while I was still there, still holding on to what we were, still trying to feel something real in every silence that occurred. No goodbye, no warning, just a quiet shift in you. and I stayed longer than I should, hoping it wasn't true.
I adjusted to your distance like it was something I could fix. Like if I loved you softer, you would somehow come back to this. But love isn't something you chase when it's already slipping away. And no amount of understanding can make someone choose to stay. Still I held on to fragments, every word, every sign, trying to build something whole out of something losing time. And what I called patience was me not letting go.
You faded while I was still there, and I felt it in my chest, like something slowly breaking, but I couldn't name it yet. No closure, no explanation, just the space where you withdrew, and I stayed inside that silence, trying to reach you. The hardest part about losing someone is not the moment they leave. It's realizing they were already gone while you were still loving them. I've been replaying conversations that didn't sound the same, trying to understand the distance without placing any blame. But sometimes love just fades without a reason you can hold, and the truth doesn't always arrive in a way that's easy to be told. And now I see it clearer, what I tried so hard to say was something that had already begun to drift away. You faded while I was still there, and I finally let it be. Not because I stopped caring, but because I chose to see. No more chasing what is gone, no more holding on to pain. I became something stronger when I stopped calling your name. If life finds me where I am now, it won't feel like it's slipping away. It won't leave me questioning if it's still choosing to stay. It will feel like a presence, like something steady and true, and I won't have to search for it the way I searched for you. Because now I understand, love doesn't fade in silence, it stays, or it leaves. I have waited, I have hoped, I have held on longer than I should. I have tried to understand you in every way I could, but I don't need to do that now. I don't need to reach for what is gone. I just need to accept the silence and move on. You faded while I was still there, and I finally feel at peace. And not because it didn't hurt, but because I chose release. No more searching for your presence, no more trying to hold on. I found something deeper when I accepted you were gone. You didn't leave all at once, but now I see it clearly. You were fading, and I was holding on. Now I'm letting go. Not because I stopped loving, but because I deserve something that stays. There are things I blame myself for too long. Moments I replayed, words I wish I could take back, versions of me I didn't know how to love. But tonight, I'm not running from any of it. Tonight, I listen. I carried guilt like it was truth, like every mistake defined my name, like every moment I felt sure was something I should always claim. I replayed the past in silence, tried to fix what couldn't change, holding on to old reflections that no longer felt the same. And I thought I deserved the weight, I thought I had to hold it tight. But the more I held on to it, the further I felt from light. And maybe I wasn't meant to punish myself. Maybe I was meant to understand. I forgave myself in the silence when no one else could see. Not because I forgot the past, but because I chose to let it breathe. No more holding on to pain like it's all I'm meant to be. I found a softer kind of freedom when I gave that grace to me.
There were parts of me I hid away, afraid of what they might reveal. Not because they weren't human, but because they felt too real. And I judged myself so quickly, never letting mercy stay. Like I had to be perfection just to earn another day. But perfection never helped me, never helped me understand. It only made me feel like I was less than who I am.
In the moment I chose compassion, everything inside me softened. I forgave myself in the silence, and the weight began to fall. Not because it disappeared, not your worst moment. You are not your past decisions. You are the one who is still here, learning, growing, becoming.
I've been holding on to stories that were never meant to stay, letting yesterday define me in a way that dimmed today. But I see it clearer now. I was doing what I knew. Every version of myself was just trying to make it through.
And that deserves compassion. That deserves to be released, not erased, but understood with a deeper kind of peace. I forgave myself in the silence, and I felt my breathing change, like something locked inside me finally loosened from the pain. No more carrying old shadows, no more living in regret. I am more than what I've been. I just hadn't seen it yet.
If love finds me where I stand now, it won't meet a broken soul. It will meet a heart that's learning how to gently be made whole. Not by someone else's presence, not by something new or bright, but by the way I've learned to hold me through the darkest parts of life. Because now I understand, love feels different when you don't abandon yourself. I have blamed and broken. I have carried silent shame. I have questioned every part of me and everything I became. But I am still here, still breathing, still worthy, still enough, even with everything I've done. I forgave myself in the silence, and I finally felt I didn't realize how heavy I had become. Not on the outside, but inside, carrying things I never put down. Things that were never mine to keep, until one moment I stopped and I let it all fall. I held on to every memory like it was something I should say. Every word that ever hurt me, every version I couldn't change. I carry voices that weren't mine, opinions I made my truth, built a weight out of expectations I never chose to choose. And I thought if I stayed strong enough, I could carry it all alone. But strength started feeling like silence, and silence felt like stone. And maybe I wasn't meant to carry everything. Maybe I was meant to let some of it go. I felt the weight, I finally sat down, and I didn't fall apart. I just felt something lift slowly from the center of my heart. No more holding on to stories that were never mine to own. I found peace in letting go of everything I own. There were feelings I kept buried because I didn't know their name. Not because they were too broken, but because they stayed the same. And I tried to push them further, pretend they didn't belong. But everything I tried to silence only stayed inside too long, until I sat with all the noise and didn't try to make it stop. And in the middle of that stillness, it began to soften up. And what I thought would break me actually freed me.
I felt the weight, I finally sat down, and my breathing changed its pace. Like something tight inside my chest had finally given space. No more carrying old burdens, no more proving I'm okay. Just the quiet kind of healing that comes when you release the weight.
You don't have to carry everything. Not every memory, not every mistake, not every expectation. Some things were never yours to hold. I've been holding on to versions of myself I've outgrown, trying to stay familiar in a place I've never known. But growth doesn't feel like comfort, it feels like letting go of everything you thought you needed just to finally feel your soul. And now I see it clearer. What I thought was strength before was just me holding on to things I didn't need anymore.
I felt the weight, I finally sat down, and I didn't lose control. I just found a deeper stillness that had always been my home. No more fear of what I'm feeling, no more needing to escape. I became something lighter when I let go of it.
If love comes into my life now, it won't feel like something heavy. It won't ask me to carry pain or hold on when I'm unsteady. It'll meet me in my lightness, in the peace I've learned to keep. And I'll love without the pressure of losing myself too deep. Because now I understand love should never feel like something you have to survive. I have carried, I have broken, I have held what wasn't mine. I have tried to stay together while I was falling inside. But I am still here, still breathing, still learning, still free. Because I finally set it down.
I felt the weight, I finally said chose release. No more holding on to everything, no more drowning in control. I found something deeper when I finally freed my soul. You don't have to carry it anymore. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to hold everything together. Just let it go and feel what it's like to be light again. I didn't lose myself, I just kept leaving. Every time it got too quiet, but not tonight. Tonight I stay. I used to feel the silence fast, like stillness couldn't last. Like if I sat too long with me, I'd feel what I didn't want to see. So I kept moving, kept the noise.